Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations about a variety of topics, including but not limited to social, psychological, emotional, and coaching related topics. We do that in the most concise and simple way possible. We do that through an audio format here on YouTube on a regular basis. If you are looking for a coach related to emotional imbalances such as but not limited to depression, anxiety, and other forms, as well as goal setting and other factors, relationship coaching, business coaching, or all points in between, please feel free to reach out. You can do that through the About Me section of my YouTube page here, or you can go to @PO Perception on Twitter and give a look over there, and we can connect through direct message with either me or a member of my team. Now, more signs of that you're dealing with kind of hidden depression signs. The first is your sleep schedule changes. Your sleep schedule will either become erratic, where you sleep a whole bunch, sometimes 10, 12, or more hours a day consistently because you're avoiding dealing with whatever else is in front of you. You will physically feel tired, but at the same time, the mental stress of having to leave your bed, get up, and deal with life becomes so overwhelming that you try to avoid it under any circumstance necessary. The other is a form of insomnia and or not following a sleep pattern at all. Now, this is extremely difficult to determine if a person works second or third shift and their sleep schedule is non-traditional. Most people think of sleep as I sleep at night and I awake during the day. So if you have a altered sleep schedule where you work second or third shift primarily, your schedule may be different, but knowing that you return to some semblance of sleep on a consistent basis within a few hours of each other on most days, unless your schedule changes or rotates, is also an important factor when making these decisions. The next thing to consider when dealing with something like this is um, you're dealing with a lot of anger or radical emotions in a negative way, meaning that you don't know where your anger is coming from, or things that would traditionally not set you off repeatedly without really understanding why. So a lot of times what happens is you are angry and showing your anger, yelling, screaming, throwing things, ready to fight, ready to get into physical or emotional conflicts with people without understanding the derivation of what's there. What happens is depression, which is sadness, is just anger pushed up, turned up, and and forced out. And for lots of people, the neurosynaptic connectors in the brain between anger and sadness often overlap, which ultimately can make those emotions very, very kind of interchangeable. And a person who doesn't know they're dealing with depression may become more angry and not understand the derivation of the why. The next is forced happiness. So, the appearance of happiness, smiling more, pretending to be happy, telling jokes, and being very jovial in front of other people, and then literally crashing the minute you're by yourself. This is very common for people who don't have the, the overall support system that they need, but they don't know how to ask for it. And so what happens is the burnout factor becomes very high. The belief that we'll be judged and more isolated and ostracized because we've been honest about how we're feeling becomes a super challenging thing. And so what begins to happen is we say things like, I'm okay, I'm fine, pretend to be fine, talk to other people about their problems, divert issues and topics away from our own challenges or problems, and then create a lot of difficulty in that way. The next is responsibility. So changes in responsibility will occur. Either a person becomes hyper responsible, that is, they take responsibility for things that are not theirs, oftentimes creating unrealistic expectations on self, putting so much pressure on oneself that it's hard to function and hard to think, and almost overextending oneself, almost setting up a self-sabotage mechanism where the overextension leads to a person being more likely to end up not being able to follow through on their own standards, or the other side of that, which is under responsibility, which is throwing up one's hands and saying, I can't handle anything, and getting to a burnout point, to the point where a person can't perform daily, weekly, or monthly functions like paying bills or going to the store or taking care of family, friends, children, or whatever. And this happens especially in elongated cases of depression that have been undertreated or untreated for several months to years. This burnout factor can actually change the level of hormones and such in the brain. It actually takes the brain several weeks to months to heal. And also, if new coping skills are not learned, a person can, uh, you know, kind of burn themselves out in many ways. The next is being overly busy. So, a person who's dealing with kind of hidden depression they're hiding from themselves will make themselves more busy as a default so they don't have to look at the negative emotions of the things that they don't want to confront. This means scheduling every free minute of the day so that one is so busy that they don't have time, quiet time, or alone time to think. And the last is shutting down all emotional impulses at which one cannot handle. This generally comes about in the nature of, again, almost overstating that one is fine, that one is doing okay, that there are no problems, and it's an instantaneous reaction. So if someone asks how you are, you don't even think about it. Instead, you're immediately jumping to, I'm fine, without even giving it time to, without even giving the question time to percolate in your mind at any level. So that can be problematic as well. So hopefully this has been helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.